Good morning, Boker Tov, or wherever you are. Hayom Yom 5 Elul. Happens to be the birthday of Yosef Menachem Kamen, one of our kids. 5 Elul. Happy birthday, Yossi. Okay, more about the talis, right? We mentioned about when yesterday, was it yesterday's bracha? Yeah, when you come up to the Torah, you open the Torah and you touch the words at beginning and end of what's being read with the tzitzis, and close it. Now, about the talis itself, our custom in donning the talis gadol, the big talis. So place the folded talis on the right shoulder. This is where you start. It's all folded up. Inspect the tzitzis, make sure that they're kosher. And you do that while you're reciting the bracha. Reciting the bracha. And then remove the talis from this shoulder. Excuse me, it's not the bracha. I made a mistake. Borchi nafshi. Borchi nafshi is pasuk that you say when you're holding the talis and the tzitzis in hand. Remove the talis from the shoulder, open it up, kiss the top border, and then you put it over your head, twirl the talis away in front of the foot, and then put it over your head behind you. Begin the bracha. Now you start the bracha on the talis itself. Complete the bracha close to placing the two right corners of the talis around the neck and the left shoulders. So now the bracha is l'sateif batzitzis, to wrap yourself in the tzitzis. Now, you might ask, or one could ask, because we usually see a direct correlation. Sometimes we don't see it. But here, even though it's not very explicit, there's a direct correlation. The tzitzis, and this is explained in other places in Chassidus, the talis itself surrounds you, right? Which is the or makif, the all-encompassing light. The tzitzis come down from that, and they are the or mamale. They're the strings. From this all-inclusive whiteness, right, is emanated strings. In fact, the din is that the strings of the talis have to be of the same material as the body of the talis. It's called min haknaf. It has to be of the corner of the garment. So the talis itself, as explained in Chassidus, the talis with its tzitzis embodies the notion of makif and panimi, the surrounding light and the drawing down light together, which happens to be our topic as we're exploring Chasdei Hashem, the kindnesses of Hashem. Yesh chesed olam, there's a chesed that belongs to the world, which is the limited kindness that's given to us in the halachas in terms of din, like give a tenth or give the fifth. That equals the strings. That's the mamali. They have to be, remember, even the Alter Rebbe used it in terms of the length of the strings, the minimum length of the strings in order to be kosher. So that's mamali, where everything is exact. However, mamale is attached to soivev. Soivev draws down mamale. The makif empowers the mamale. The soivev, the transcendent, empowers the immanent. And that's called Rav Chesed, the great Chesed, which is above and beyond measurement. And that's what we've been talking about. Tzedakah, above and beyond measurement. Money and acts of kindness, digging down deeper and without measurement. So this will continue and conclude this letter today. Lessons in Tanya, page 182. Yeah. And Likuti Amorim, top of page Kuf Es Vov, 116. Okay, now we're going to hark back to the beginning of this letter where the Alter Rebbe cited a pasuk that says, Chasdei Hashem kilei somanu. The kindnesses of Hashem never end. And he said there's a grammatical inference here, a grammatical point which is going to become significant today. Because if it were referring to the kindnesses of Hashem and kindnesses of Hashem and said they never ended, it should have said le samu. They never ended. Le samu. What does it mean? Le semanu. And so he's going to analyze that today and come up with a rather surprising meaning for that word, that grammatical deviation. Instead of le samu, le semanu. So let's begin. Top of the page. Second line. Hine midas chesed zu. This attribute of chesed, this one, the one we've been talking about, the one which is bli gvul, without any boundedness, umida, and without any mida, without any measure. Nikras al shemei shel HaKodesh Baruch Hu, it's called by the name of the Holy One, blessed be He. That's the pasuk, Chasdei Hashem, the kindnesses of Hashem. The Kasiv, as it's written in Tillim, the Chesed Hashem oilam be'ad oilam. It says the kindnesses of Hashem are eternal. Or, that's the way oilam, they always translate eternal, and that's a meaning. But if you look at it literally, it's from world to world. Oilam be'ad oilam. The kindnesses of Hashem are not bounded. They encompass, and because it's Rav Chesed, it's from Makif, it encompasses all the worlds, from one world to another world. Ki hagam shekol Yisrael heim rachamonim, even though the Jewish people, and I'm saying parenthetically, as a whole, are merciful, it's one of the characteristics of the Jewish person, and built into the Jewish soul, and they, by their nature, are merciful, the nature being the godly soul. By their nature, they are merciful and do acts of kindness. However, yesh gavul umida lerachamei ha'adam. Every person is also naturally inclined to give a certain amount. A person makes a cheshbon, particularly when it comes to money, makes a cheshbon, and puts aside his tenth or her fifth or whatever it is. And even in acts of kindness that are not money, there's a limit to, how far can I go? How far can I give myself? Well, there's an infinity that one can give oneself or of oneself. So, that's the place. Yeah. So there's a natural limit to the measure of mercy or kindness or tzedakah that a person is going to give. Avol HaKodesh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He. Why is it called Chasdei Hashem, the kindnesses of Hashem? Because the Holy One, blessed be He, He's called Nikra Ein Sof Baruch Hu. He's called the Infinite One. Ulamidoisav Ein Sof. And to His attributes also, there is no limit. All of Hashem's attributes are invested with the quality of Ein Sof. But the Kasiv, as is written in the pasuk in Eicha, Ki lecholu rachamov, your mercies never end. So these are other pasukim that we haven't brought yet, or have actually been brought some earlier, emphasizing the notion of the kindness of Hashem, that it's infinite. And this is what the prophet writes, after the destruction of the temple, v'hagalos, and he says, this is from Eicha, remember? This is Eicha, the one who's mourning the destruction of the temple, and he says, Chasdei Hashem ki leisomanu. The kindness is of Hashem. Literally, it's we have not ended. Leisomanu. We have not ended. Okay? The kindnesses of Hashem, we have not ended. What does it mean, we have not ended? As it says, you said earlier, it should have said leisomu. They have not ended. So there's something about we, us, that's being pointed at in this strange grammatical structure. Pirish. So now he's going to explain that leisemanu. We have not ended. Pirish lefi shelei samanu. So he doesn't say ended, but he uses the word samu as in tamu, like tamche tamimim, the ones who support, the pure ones. Tam. You have an animal which is a tam, which is a pure animal, can be brought as a sacrifice. Tamu. So we are not pure. The kindnesses of Shem, leisemanu, ki leisemanu, because she'en onu tamimim, that we are not tamimim, we are not pure. V'shalmim, and we're not whole. Bli shum chet ve'upagam, without any sin or blemish, benefesh, and without any blemishes having occurred as a result of our behavior in the supernal worlds. Leisomanu, we are not pure. And because we're not pure, 100% entirely given over to the service of Hashem and to Hashem's Ratzon, Al Ken, therefore, we have to, as I've been saying, dig down deeper and conduct ourselves with the kindnesses of Hashem, which are bli gvul, without limitation. We have to go beyond the measure into the unbounded, unmeasurable, beyond our limits. So we have to go to and imitate the chasdei of Hashem, the Rav Chesed, which is of Hashem, which is bli gvul v'tachlis, without any boundedness or without any end. In order to arouse upon ourselves the Chesed Elah, the higher level, the Rav Chesed of Hashem, Shehu Rav Chesed, V'rachmim bli gvul, and the mercy which is without, and God's mercy which is without limit. We have to go beyond our limits in order to arouse Hashem's beyond limits, because we're not perfect. We haven't done a perfect avodah, and everyone can say that. Even a tzaddik has more to go. There's always more to go because it's infinite. So we have to find that deeper part of ourselves, that which stems from the makif levels of our neshama, the deeper levels of our neshama, and conduct ourselves in a manner of kindness and mercy, without boundedness, without end. Mishikosev, as is written, ki kolu rachamon, that their mercy never ends. And this is what our sages have said. The sages have said, Ein Yisrael nigalin ela b'tzedakah. The Jewish people are redeemed only through tzedakah. So now he's pointing this on this particular tzedakah, the tzedakah which is out of bounds, out of limits. Sheyasu gam yu patorim edin, as he says, the tzedakah that we give, even if we're not obligated by the din, or he puts it the other, even if we're pater from the din. In other words, we've given our tenths, but that isn't enough to bring geula. One needs to dig down deeper and open and get down into an infinity that's lodged in the nefesh elokis, and bring that forth. We'll say it again. They said that the Jewish people are redeemed only through tzedakah. And the Alter Rebbe adds, "Sheyasu gam im yu paturim medina," the tzedakah that we give, even if we've already given according to the din. And that expression goes on and says, "Ki ein ben David ba," the son of David doesn't come, or more positively, if you say the Mashiach will only come. The son of David will never come. Mashiach will only come, as it goes. It will not come until, and it doesn't finish the quote here. And the quote from the Gemara is, Mashiach will not come, Ben David will not come until the pocket will be empty of even the smallest coin, and still we will give. So this is giving our all, and giving our all will in righteousness, tzedakah, kindness, acts of kindness, and tzedakah with money and with acts of kindness. Giving it with our all will bring Mashiach. And that's today's time. That's the end of this letter. Short. Comments? It's an interesting idea. Even when we have nothing to give, there's always more to give. right? Because the neshama is infinite. And I think the most important thing for me, anyway, even when you run out of money, there's you. There's the you with all of your koichos, with all of your powers, and there's always more of you that can be given. And this is the formula. And you store nagala and tzedakah for bringing the gula. Get more out of yourself. Well, no questions, right? Pretty straightforward. So ubechein. Anybody want to come forth with an opportunity that they can say, well, today I will, who knows what? I'll bring one for. I've not been feeling well for the last couple of weeks, but today I will make an extra effort to overcome those feelings of would rather stay in bed and more positively engage in the world, at least to the ability that I most possibly can. That's my resolution for the day. Anybody else?
Just
Okay.
reach out to a friend.
What?
Reach out to a friend, to another person. Try and give them support.
Right. Absolutely. And particularly if it's somebody that in the past you, for whatever reasons, have been reluctant to and withdrawn from because of some natural something that he did to you or she did to you, and overcome the idea, overcome the resistance, and reach out beyond, reach out as a function of overcoming the resistance that you have to not reaching out. And I'm sure, not sure, but based on my own life, in in the most intimate relation, in the family relationships, husband, wife, children, etc., and the friends, where there's opportunity here for people who are in need, and you might say, "Look, I'm busy." Just try to find a corner of yourself to say, "Okay, let me get busy with that a little bit at least," even though my instinct is to not get busy with that. And the Alter Rebbe told us that that's what brings the Gula. These Jewish people are only redeemed through the tzedakah, and this kind of tzedakah that we're talking about, the Rav Chesed. Okay? If nothing else, then short. We'll see you tomorrow.
Amen.